All right, what's up, everybody? Episode 4, 5, I think it's 5. Logical Sports. Got my cousin with me, Phil, and we're gonna break down Phil a little bit of this Western Conference, Eastern Conference championship matchup, and it should be a good one on both ends. So today is May 20th, 2024, the night of that. So that being said, Phil, how you feeling?
Feeling
What's up?
good, man. Feeling good. How you feeling, Cuzzo?
I'm
What's
good,
going on?
man. My Celtics are 4 games away from the championship, so I'm okay. Oh, I'm good, and they rested. Porzingis might be back for Game 3, but we gonna see. We're gonna see. But we're gonna start on the other hand, where we had the Minnesota Timberwolves beating Denver at home in a Game 7 while they were already down 15 at halftime. What a fucking game that was, man.
Man,
And man, right, man, that was fun to watch.
man.
I ain't gonna lie, I turned it off at halftime. I was like, this game's like, I saw like that last play that um Gobert did something stupid, I think it was, and like it was like at the 10-minute mark, and then like they came back and scored and like brought it up to 15 or 20. I'm like, yeah, this shit's over with. I turned it off, and they start winning. And Cooper's telling me, it's like, oh, they're winning. I'm on the game with them. Like, they're winning. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna turn it on. It's like, nah, keep that shit off. You might be good luck. And I'm superstitious. So I kept it off. I watched the fourth quarter,
I
and
bet
I
you
watched
did.
the first two quarters. I did, because I really wanted Timberwolves to win, and they did. And
Right.
man, I'm excited for them. And they're on their way to play the Dallas Mavericks, and this is going to be a good one indeed. Do you want to talk a
Man, you
little bit
turned that
about
off there.
this?
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about the previous matchup, the Minnesota Denver and Dallas OKC? I did say Dallas was gonna win it. I did say
Yeah,
Dallas was gonna
you
win it.
did.
I said they were
You
gonna
did.
win game two. I said they were gonna win game two as well. So I was like, I'm good with. I'm happy that my picks are right. I'm happy that Luke and Kyrie's are there. Is there. Um, but I'll give you the floor. Which direction you wanna go with on this?
To be honest, I really feel like we have to highlight Minnesota's defense more than
Yes.
anything. Um,
Yes.
they were everywhere, literally
Mm-hmm.
swarming, and I mean, they did the only game plan that you know that they had to do. Like, all right, take
Mm-hmm.
Jokic out. Make sure that Jokic doesn't have clear line of sight, make somebody else beat you. But I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
literally were swarming everybody else. And then you have Anthony Edwards that say, all right, Jamal Murray, hey, look, let's go. If this how we gonna go game 7, let's go. Let's go ahead and lock in. I feel like he had his moment because his shot wasn't falling, but he found a way to affect the whole game, especially
Yeah,
on the defensive end.
he said it after the post game interview. He said, I was struggling, but I'm not just a one-way player. I'm a two-way player. What I did is I locked down Jamal Murray in the fourth quarter, second half, third and fourth quarter, and he said that's just who I am. That shows who I am. I'm not just a one-sided player, and that made a difference. You know what I'm saying? That him
Yeah,
hopping on both sides in the defense, like, and still knocking down some clutch shots. Like it was a clutch three I saw in one of the transitions on the third, and then just still making those plays. And that's what a superstar does. And the man's only 22 years old. It's insane to me.
yeah, he put almost a dagger three when they did the fast break and he had slid back to that 3 point in the corner
Mm-hmm.
because that
Mm-hmm.
momentum was gone after that point. Like it was pretty much a wrap. He had took their
Yeah.
soul. Soul was taken. Look, I mean, but that's what happened to Anthony Edwards. He's infectious. He's
Mm-hmm.
changed that whole team. And then you have him with the veteran with Mike Conley. It's like it's a perfect little combination of how you gonna lead this team. And then you
Yeah.
just let
And
him be his little silly self.
it's working. And like they went on a 28-14 run in the third quarter. That's crazy. That's crazy. On a defending championships, home court in a Game 7, and they're up, and y'all didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck and say, you know what? We still in this game. He said after that Rudy Gobert shot, he's like, oh yeah, we got him. We got him. And that
Did
and
you
that
did you
Go
see
ahead.
that Ant had said that did you see that caught a clip of Ant in the third quarter saying I'm about to get in my bag?
Yeah, I did catch
when
that.
they were still
Yeah.
down. When they were still
Yep.
down. Look, I'm about to get
Yep.
up at bad. Look, everything is
Yep.
fine.
Yep.
Hey
And he
man,
did.
it
He did.
was a good series. It was a good series. It was a good matchup. We had a conversation about that. I was like, that was gonna be a good one.
Yeah. And their defense though, it's like they got so many bodies to throw out there. They got a lot of different defensive pieces that they can go to, from 1 through 5, honestly. So like their defense, like they won 98-90. I think that was like the lowest scoring one of their series, if I'm not mistaken. That speaks volumes of the team that, like, yeah, it's with the exception of last game when they blew them out by, they only had 70 points. They they
But
were like
wasn't
holding
all their
teams here
games
and there.
blowouts? Wasn't all
Who,
their games
the
blowouts
Timberwolves?
though?
Timberwolves, the first one they
And
won, they won
Nuggets.
106-99, and then 106-80. Yeah, that was a blowout. The 117 Nuggets won to 90. Yeah, 115 the Timberwolves 107, and then the Nuggets 112-97, and then the Timberwolves 115-70, and then 98-90 Timberwolves. Man,
Yeah, I think they
look,
average win game was like 18 to 20 points. Like it was I was like, no, I think it was a lot of blowouts of this series, which
yeah,
is
there was.
crazy for it to go
Which
to
was
game 7.
crazy. Exactly for it to go to game 7. But it's also the way the NBA is, because like that, if I remember correctly, I'm not sure if it was last year or the year before. The Celtics had the same thing with Miami. They were like they went to a game 7, but they were blowing each other out here and there, but having close games every once in a while. But yeah, shout out to the Timberwolves. Ant is balling. They're doing what they need to do. They looked well coached. They looked,
Man,
like
right?
they are hungry and like they are there. They're like, why not us? And they're playing with house money right now. Because literally, I don't think anyone had the Timberwolves in the Western Conference Championship at the beginning of the season. I sure didn't. And for them to be here is no mistake. Because they were like right there at the number one seed, was the number one seed for a little bit all during the season. So this, as you watch this, if you've been watching basketball, you shouldn't be too surprised that the Minnesota Timberwolves here. But still, just to say that Minnesota Timberwolves are in the Western Conference Championship for the first time since, what was it, 2004, and that's, shout out to them, because they're doing their thing, and it starts and ends with Ant, and that's crazy because he's the youngest guy, 22, and whew, they are fun to watch. They are fun
Hey
to
man,
watch.
hey. Look, I'll be the first one to admit because when they made that trade for Rudy Gobert and paid that man that money, I was like, well,
And the
that
draft
doesn't
pick.
make any sense.
That was
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
crazy. You
yeah,
got
like man,
draft
like
picks and the money,
what,
huh?
like what did we
Gobert?
do? Rudy Gobert next to Karl Anthony Towns? I was like, why? Um,
Like
it
what?
doesn't make any logical sense. But
And
then,
then
I mean,
trading. Honestly, the D'Angelo Russell for like Michael Conley, all that stuff. I was like, well, what the hell is the Timberwolves doing? But that GM knows what he's doing because he did enough, build up the Denver Nuggets to win, and now he's been up the Timberwolves to beat the Denver Nuggets, and it worked.
right?
So like,
He
I
got the team. He set up a team to beat the team that he needed to beat. Right? Look.
yep. And they just constantly adding the right pieces to make a complete team for what the Timberwolves are. Like it's a real well-oiled machine. But yeah, shout out to the Timberwolves. Transition into the team, or is there something else you wanted to add to that?
Nope.
Okay,
No.
cool.
We can
Transition
roll.
over to the team that they beat. My pick to win that series. My picks to get here from the very first episode. The Dallas Mavericks, my boy Kyrie, Luka, and the question we were asking, that everyone was asking, who was going to be that third guy? Phil, we found an answer. That boy was PJ Washington, man. How good was he in this fucking
PJ
series, man? Woo.
Washington didn't see it. We had a whole conversation. I was like, is it
Yeah,
gonna be PJ
I think
Washington?
Coop. I went back and watched that episode. Coop was like the only one that was like really threw PJ Washington out there. You mentioned it was like, yeah, he could be that, but we just haven't seen it. But yeah, I was thinking more so, Derrick Jones Jr., Lively, which they still did their part, but PJ Washington
Right.
stole the
No,
show. He
it
stole
had
the
to be
show.
a third. Oh, it had to be a separate person. It had to be another person that was gonna step out and do it. That's the way the league is set up. It has to. I mean,
Yeah.
no matter. I mean,
And
it's as crazy as it sounds, right? It's like the star is going to get the star type of buckets or whatever, right? Like you kind of know that that's coming. And the second star is more than likely going to get their buckets too. But it's like when we have a third option, that's when it's like now we done effed up the whole, fucked up the whole defensive scheme because you can't double team three people.
Right.
It's not enough.
You can't have all eyes on three. Yeah. And
Right. So that's the deciding factor. And so it was like there wasn't anybody that was like consistently showing that enough for the Mavericks. But I mean, honestly, their defense did a lot too with their winning the game. Let's give a spade call a spade. Be honest, defense actually looked pretty solid.
They did. And like I said, like what I believe for them to win the series, like the reason why I picked the Mavericks, I was like, they got the experience, they got the better coach, and they got at the end Luka and Kyrie to make something happen. Now, statistically speaking, Kyrie did not have his best numbers wise, but if you watch the game, the man was impactful. The man was hustling. The dude was going to the towards the end of the fourth quarter with 4 or 5 fouls. To me, I've always been like the old school saying, if you're getting 4 or 5 fouls, that means you're playing defense. Kyrie is playing defense. He was like not a lie down defender, but enough that they weren't playing 5-on-4 or 5-on-3 because Luke and Kyrie hasn't been playing defense. But they locked in. It's the shit that you always say, I'll never forget. It's like, if you're a great offensive team, fine, be a great offensive team. But what you're going to do in those last 2 minutes defensive wise is what matters. Like, can you play defense the last 2 minutes? And those two and that whole team did that very much so. Luka very took control of the game towards the end when he needed to. Maybe not actually scoring, but passing, making the right decisions. Making the right decisions that are leading to fouls, making the right decisions that are leading to assists, alley-oop, whatever it may be. And that's what it was for me. I'm like, yeah, Shai is that. And he did his thing. We have to give this man flowers because the man balled out every fucking game, right? So like it was like, hey, you did it, but they didn't have the experience. I feel like the coaching, he got out coached. I feel like Jason Kidd out coached. He was making adjustments here and there, like even letting Giddey shoot the three, letting Dort, like if Giddey and Dort beats us, we live with that. But everyone else, like shots gonna get his, but we're gonna see how can we get Chet Holmgren uncomfortable. Let's see how we can get Jalen Williams uncomfortable. Let's get them in foul trouble and keep attacking them. Like he was out coached, you know what I'm saying? But they're young, they're gonna have time. But go ahead.
Every Josh Giddey shot is the shot Shai ain't shooting.
Say it again for the people in the back.
No, every Josh Giddey shot is a shot Shai ain't shooting. That was the game plan. Look, all right, go ahead and let that man get bucket. You can go ahead and get hot even if you want to, my man. It's all right. You're gonna go back to passing, I know. And dude, Shai gonna walk around and get 30 points when he wake up in the morning. It's like, yeah,
man was casually dropping 30 points like it was nothing, man. Like he does it so smooth.
Right, he's very aggressive, but he doesn't seem like he's a ball hog. Like he doesn't seem like he's that dominant. It's really difficult to do.
Right, it's almost like, correct me if I'm wrong, but not the way his style of play is, but like that type of scoring, like when he, he's not aggressive, but he is aggressive. He's still dominant. It reminds me how like Tracy McGrady was. Like Tracy McGrady would pass the ball around, make sure like if it's back to me, fine, I'll make this bucket. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't like a James Harden, give me the ball in my hands the whole time type of play. He's like, nah, give me the ball, I'm gonna get a bucket if we need a bucket. You know what I'm saying? And he still be like demanded when he needs to, like, all right, guys, I got this. Hold on. But he's not the James Harden, I'm gonna shoot every fucking shot, but the ball's gonna be every play through me type stuff.
Yeah. I mean, T-Mac, he had the little sleepy type smooth game or whatever. So I mean, I feel style wise not the same, but yeah, it is.
Not style wise, I said,
but he was definitely a willing passer. But then he just had
willing passer.
Aggression. Hence when you lead the league in scoring, you got to be aggressive. I mean, Shai was essentially there too. If it wasn't for like an Embiid, like. That man was getting buckets, and it's.
I think Luka led the team in score, like led the NBA in scoring this year, though, right? It was Luka.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't have it pulled up, but I'm just saying, like he was up there, getting buckets for OKC or whatnot, and he just keep coming. He just really find a way to keep coming after you, and a variation of ways. That's what gets you.
Yep. And what do you think? Maybe you can probably like dissect this better than I can, but to me, it seemed like Jason Kidd was throwing all these different options and adjustments and um, rotations out there where OKC kind of stayed stagnant and the same, and like try to stick to what they do, like which works. I mean, it won them a couple games, but it wasn't enough to win the series. Would you agree with that statement that like OKC didn't make really too much adjustments, or maybe I was missing those adjustments that I didn't see, or did it just seem like we're just how this our style of play, we're gonna play it because it always worked, and
What what I think it is um OKC didn't really have too many other options to throw additional adjustments their way. Um,
mhm,
Tommy, I'm sitting trying to think. Maybe let me click to see what their roster actually looked like. But I don't really think the adjustments that could be made. Whereas in Dallas, needed to make an adjustment first, and those adjustments worked really well. So
understandable.
they kind of stuck with the all right. If we get to this point, this is what's going to mess them up because this is what messed them up before. We now have that ace in the hole. So they essentially went back to what they
Mhm.
were doing until it was like, all right, it's time to put the kids to bed. Because when they narrowly won that last game, you know what I mean? Like these games was close. It's not like they was just
Yeah.
walking away with it. Like that last
But they
game
they
came down
figured
to
them
free
out.
throws.
They figured them out like you're like, yeah,
Mhm.
we just missed free throws, like besides that, we were dominating them the whole game. So we got something going
Right,
on. We figured it out.
right.
And
Mhm.
that's where I feel like that's where the Dallas Mavericks X factor, dark horse, if even whatever you want to put in, fill in the blank, comes where I think they can win it all is the adjustments that Jason Kidd makes. Like he lost game
Mhm.
one both times. Game two came back and won. Like this man is coaching and like he's figuring out like what I think is also best is that Luka get hot early and let Kyrie finish when he needs to at the end of it. Where Luka, if he's getting good first quarter and passing the ball, getting his teammates in, where he's got like, having people, respect him, not respect him, but like he has a rhythm. He has a rhythm with him. He got some points drops. So all right, cool. Y'all gonna have to crash in on me. I'm gonna dish this ball, set this pick and roll, be a little patient, and room line it up. Like after he gets his rhythm early, he's good for the rest of the game. Kyrie can just click, and I think that's the what Jason Kidd's rolling was. All right, Luka, get hot early.
Mhm.
Kyrie, finish in the second half, and like it's working so well. And and that plus Jason Kidd making these rotation adjustments, making he's playing to who he's playing against, not just going out there. This is who we are. We're gonna play this way, whatever. He's like, okay, we're gonna play this way against the Clippers. Okay, we're gonna play this way against OKC. We're gonna play this way against Minnesota coming up. I feel like it's going to be such a chess match that's going on because of Jason Kidd, and I feel like he more so than everything else that we on the player side, he's an X factor that's a very good X factor because he got something going on. He's looking good. He's looking good as a coach, and he's making the right moves, and it's working.
Man, look, no, love Jason Kidd as the player. Obviously, I told y'all a lot about him when I was
Hmm.
younger. Definitely
Hmm.
a smart coach as well. Of course, he's playing chess out there. I mean, he was playing chess when he was playing the basketball game. So I know as a coach, he's on the sideline trying to uh,
Hmm.
move things around, and you see the different elements and different adjustments that you were saying that he was making, like adding who is it? That was Marcus Morris that he threw in that had went off one the game, right? It was just like you have like
He
the
threw
one
in
on,
there for a little bit. Yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just
yeah.
like you just have like um different little spots you can try to throw in or whatever. But I mean it's about
And
adjustments,
he
giving
rarely
different
has Luca and Kyrie off the court at the same time. Very, very rarely, which is of course what you should do. And I like that.
it's it's funny. So obviously I mean, I guess I'm speaking for folks that maybe not know, but I'm a diehard
Mhm,
Rockets fan. Um,
mhm,
I am, and so are you. But uh, part of me, this is so have to make the statement. I am not a Mavericks fan because I am a diehard Rockets fan. So this is
Same,
me
understandable.
being a realist sports podcast type person right now. I just had to put my already bias out there
Understandable.
for it to be known.
Go for it.
But I that's so when I sound like a hater of like I don't want Dallas to win a championship, right? Like that's not
Yeah.
something I really want to see. However, being a Rockets fan, I see complete parallels of the Rockets team that I thought should have won a championship. And in 2018, to about 7
Yeah.
good people straight in the roster that can like equate to the
Mhm.
same archetype to player. And I'm just like, seeing them win would just kind of justify of like, well, we was a
It
hamstring
could be
injury from
us.
Chris Paul away, hamstring injury away from that could have been us or whatever. So part of me wants to see that just
Yeah.
to justify, because obviously the Luka is James Harden, right? Is the Larry
Yeah.
Bird of James Harden, right? But Kyrie was the closer that Chris Paul was for us too, the point guard, the
Mhm.
second
At that
person.
time, Chris Paul, yeah, was still
He
playing a
was.
very high
He
level
definitely
offensively.
was.
Yeah.
It was hard to stop. And then you had the Derek Lively, aka Clint Capella, the lob threat. So pick and roll and good defensive threat. And
Yeah.
you had PJ
Slash
Washington,
Gafford.
the
Slash
utility man.
Gafford.
PJ Washington is like PJ Tucker on the team.
hmm
Gafford is kind of like a toss up. He'd probably be more like Luke and Mute for that team. But then Tim Hardaway would be Eric Gordon.
Eric Gordon
You
for
just gotta
sure.
find. And
For
then I
sure.
guess was that Marcus Williams, Marcus Morris on their team? That would be like the Gerald Green. Like I say, it's just it all lines up. Come in and I'm gonna just score whenever.
We got Minnesota Timberwolves and the Dallas Mavericks. Who you got?
Minnesota Timberwolves and Dallas Mavericks.
Would you rather me switch the question up?
But what?
Do you want to go with what they need to do to win first? So yeah, let's go that route. What does Dallas need to do to win the series, and then what does Minnesota need to do to win the series?
Oh, Dallas needs Luka and Kyrie Irving to play like top-notch Luka and Kyrie Irving. That's quite difficult to stop. There's no real code to crack. You kind of gotta hope that you can play good enough defense on one of them to have not a good game, and so just the other one goes off, and then you can try to slow down the rest of the team. But there's ain't no real answer. You
hmm
just kind of gotta hope for it. But I mean, Minnesota literally showed me that they are capable of that. The best defense in the league, and I mean, it was on complete display. Uh, Recency bias, obviously, but literally yesterday they were
hmm
everywhere on a really good offensive team, championship team from last year. So um, they just got to get in their bag, and like we were talking about the coaching. Jason Kidd got to be a little creative. Um, and as far as Minnesota, um, I mean, ride the wave. It's ant season, right? Look, Ant gives Cat some confidence that I don't think your boy ever had. So
hmm
as long as you got him out there rolling, I mean, they gotta attack one. He has to lock in. They have to show that number one defense. Because as I just described, Luka and Kyrie are going to be a problem. So
hmm
you kind of see how you can minimize that as much as possible. Uh, Maybe do the opposite. Maybe because it seems like Kyrie is like the good closer, right?
hmm
Maybe try to funnel Luka very early in the game to get him off, and then kind of let Kyrie while it's dangerous to let him get hot, let him get going, and then towards the end of the game, literally blitz him, and then try to make everybody else make decisions off of the pass, but try to block Luka from getting that first pass from Kyrie, if that makes sense.
Mm. No, it
Defensively,
makes
that's
sense.
what I would
Yeah.
do. I'm going to blitz Kyrie. Easier said than done, but I mean, again, Minnesota got the bodies to do it. Blitz him and then make him pass it from the person you double from, who is not Luka. Literally anybody else. And then if that's the way we got to go out, it's the playoffs. You got to figure out what you're going to live and die by. Like I did die by that sword.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get the ball out their hands, and then you put like your tightest defender, Luka, and get him not close to that basketball. Whatever the hell you got to do. And again, that's not a great answer, but I feel like you got to try something.
It's
They
a
got
way.
two.
It's a way. Yeah.
They got two people on that court you really don't want to shoot the ball when it gets the last 2 minutes in the game. So I mean, you got to try something. And what we've seen over the playoffs is the other way works.
Mm-hmm.
Luka get his earlier, and then Kyrie comes home and put the boys to bed. Like that works.
Mm-hmm.
Try to flip that.
So,
Like try as hard as you can to flip that. Like, all right. No, Luka, you're not gonna get off early. We're gonna try to get the ball out your hands as much as possible. Kyrie, you found yourself open. I'm sorry, you went off early, and Luka is having an off game. Like, we'll go with that. And now we want, you know what I mean? Now we want you to shoot at the end, Luka. Now we want you to shoot.
So with that being said, who is your pick?
My heart wants to say Minnesota.
Mm.
My heart really does. It is them professional scores of Luka and Kyrie that is really hard to bet against. Very, very professional scores to both of them. And man, look, I even had this wrong. I was talking about what's your boy's name? Gafford. I meant Derek Jones is Gerald Green.
Yeah.
That's the Gerald Green comparison for the Rockets. Like it's there. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Fine. Making 3-point shots in a timely manner. Like,
but let's get your pick. What you got?
They are there. I was stalling a little bit.
I know.
I think it's gonna be good. I really think this one's going 7-2. Man, how good would it be to see Ant-Man like I'm in the championship, 22 leading them Timberwolves that ain't been there. I would like to see that. I think it's gonna be Dallas though. Something in my spirit is telling me that it's gonna be Dallas. So I'm okay, basketball guys. If I'm wrong on this, we can look back and say that I'm wrong, but I'm okay if I'm wrong. However, I think Dallas can, because you know what they can do. I think they got a center that is young and athletic enough to make it a little hard on Rudy Gobert.
Yep, and that is where I'm gonna come in and say that's what I think Dallas has to do to win this game is attack Rudy. Attack that nigga. Attack Rudy Gobert. Set the pick and roll up. If he's lagging back, cool. Kyrie, take that jumper. PJ Washington, take that jumper. Luka, take that jumper. If he's gonna press up, blow by his ass and throw an alley to Derek Lively, Derek Jones, whoever else is cutting. I feel like that can be a very good key to success for them. Is attack Gobert and like do it in your terms. Don't let him try to play his way. Sit under the basket. Nah, get that motherfucker out of there. Have everyone else cutting. Derek Lively's quick enough to set that pick and roll and while Gobert touching him. Now, I did see this one play where JJ Redick and LeBron James broke down how he can guard two places at one with the pick and roll by just sitting in the middle. He's tall enough to, grab and whatnot, him and Wemby. Really good at that defensively. But even so, I feel like if there's people that can make those passes, it's Luke and Kyrie who can make those passes on those pick and rolls. So I feel like that's one good way of them taking the game for Dallas Mavericks. Also, Luca just keep being Luca. No one's really stopped him. Like his off game is having like a 26, 8, and 9 series. This is him having an off series. Like what? Okay, and that still was enough to win. So Luca just keep doing Luca. I truly believe he's one of those people that's just like unguardable because he's so smart with the ball. He can score, and like the way he does pick and rolls is so unique, but like smart. His pick and roll action is never pick and roll, and I go attack right off the roll. It's pick and roll, and wait for my guy to come around. Use my butt to slow the big guy who's I'm setting the pick around for to now have an option to either throw an alley oop or hit a floater off the backboard or a step back off of the backboard. His just pick and roll is like very he's like, all right, you do this, I'm gonna do that. You do this, I'm gonna do that. I already know what's going to happen. He sees the plays before it happens. I really like watching Luca play, and I think he's just one of the greatest players in the NBA right now. And he's younger than Shy. Like it's crazy. The dude's younger than Shy. He still has a lot of time left. The dude is hooping,
Yeah.
and with Kyrie there too. Like I said, like at the end of the day, if it's a close series, it's gonna be a close game. If it's a close game, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds left. Who do I trust more? Luke and Kyrie or Anthony Edwards and call Anthony Towns?
I have
I'm
dumb
going with
faith in Anthony Edwards. I have dumb faith in Anthony Edwards.
that's
However,
fine.
I don't know
I'm not
about
saying
Karl
I
Anthony
don't have
Towns.
I have faith in Anthony Edwards too, but like for sure I'm taking those two over Anthony Edwards or those two over Cat. Like I'm just trusting those two. So like I,
I
I just keep doing what they're doing. Let Luca get hot in the first. Keep PJ Washington going. 'Cause this man's a hooper, bro. This dude can shoot. He can take it. He's a mismatch problem. Honestly, like on one, like he can take it, bro. Like he's another third great
Mhm.
option, and he can be a spot up shooter if he wants him to. And keep him involved in the rotation and maybe even draw up some plays for PJ Washington specifically. That might be something Jason Kidd will do if he has. I mean, it looks like he's been doing it already. But like, yeah, get him involved with the pick and roll with him cutting. Man, that's it. That's what they need to do, and they're good. Luca hot first quarter. Let Luca continue to cook. Kyrie, I want to see Kyrie to step it up a little bit more on the offensive side because if he stepped up a little bit more, all the games could have been sweeps, honestly, for them. But I definitely want to see that. But that's what I think they need to do to win. For the Timberwolves is don't let Rudy Gobert get exposed. Like don't let this man, maybe throw some zones out there just to see how it looks. But continue throwing bodies. I agree with you. Blitz Luca, I mean blitz Kyrie, and honestly blitz both of them. Continue throwing bodies out there. Don't worry about them fouling. You kind of want them to foul, roughing them up because shit, Dallas is not a good free throw team. So if you're getting fouls, they're getting uncomfortable because they're playing aggressive defense. That's okay because we can't trust them to make free throws. They were shot 53% and lost the game because of it. So like
Mm.
get them use your fouls, Timberwolves, and that will slow the game down if you're getting like they're taking a big lead. Jump it back in. Let Anthony Edwards let him continue cooking. Continue, like you said, riding that energy that he's bringing. That has Cat laughing goofy and talking weird in the post press office and balling out at the
But
same time. But
yeah,
he's
right.
having that confidence to talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Because of Anthony Edwards, he's like trust. They all trust each other. That team is a full, complete team of like we all know our roles. We're gonna do it well and let us, continue having each other's back. Like, and Anthony Edwards is like a great superstar to follow because this man not just balling on offense, he's gonna ball on defense. He said what? He said at the post game interview, he said my guy's Kyrie, so I'm gonna have a matchup. Like he's calling him out on defense, like bro, like
Mm.
James Harden would never, Steph Curry would never. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I already know my role because I'm gonna have to be this for us to win, and I love that. So keep rolling with that on Anthony Edwards and continue riding that home field, the home court, like roll with that. Like your crowd gets under you, win some home court games. Yeah, I mean, I have home court advantage, so
Mm.
but at the same time, has not been a problem for Dallas to win away. So like, just continue
And
throwing
all
those
that.
different bodies at Luca and Kyrie. Get them exhausted quick. Foul them up a bit. You got the fouls. Luca's not a great free throw shooter. These guys are bigger than you're bigger than these guys. Almost 1 through 5. Y'all can taller than them, got more length than them. Use that shit. I think maybe throwing a little zone out there might help, but I don't know. I don't know why I think that. Logically, it shouldn't. But I don't know that. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. I don't know why. But yeah, that's what I think Minnesota needs to win, and that's what I think Dallas needs to win.
He said, I don't know about logically it's sitting. Like, I throw a boxing one on that random and not
You
the
will,
whole
it will
game,
kind
bro.
of
Like,
work, right? Yeah,
I
like to
see
throw a
it
little
though.
something
Somebody
fun,
the whoever's on Luca, man up on Luca, or like I said, or flip it. No, actually, no. I would want Luca to get the ball off. So man up on Luca, and whenever he comes, he walk into like a double team, so you can force him to get off that ball as much as possible, even if he tries to throw the screen, and actually help you from the screen because whoever comes to pick, their man isn't following. They're gonna run up to the
Mhm,
zone, so he's not attached
mhm,
to the hip of that person. So that should take away the lob too, because the person on the backside should be watching for it. So they should be running the screen, trying to fake it and shoot to that person in the
and they
corner
have
if
the
you can
speed
move
and
the
length
defense.
for
But
those
that's
guys to
to
do
get
that.
him right. But you get off the ball. Like this is the whole goal. Is Luka is not shooting jumpers. Like get the ball
Mhm,
out of his
mhm,
hands. And so that scheme would work. They would figure
mhm.
it out though.
That's another
You
thing, and
can't
that's
give
what
them.
I'm.
You
Let
can't
me
give
come
them
in
the
real quick,
same look.
and
Mhm.
that's my X factor in all this. Where I'm taking the Mavericks 4-3 is because they're gonna figure it out because I trust Jason Kidd as the better coach against this matchup, and I'm trusting the coach. So like when it comes out to these games that are just so close, that two great teams are going, you got to start nitpicking. You got to see like what's this? Who's the best player on the court? Who's the best rotation player? Who got a better bench? Who got better defense? Those little things you nitpicking that you got to
Mhm.
figure out who's going to be the one to win a very good game against two great teams. And I'm going with the coach. I feel like Jason Kidd's gonna. He's been doing it. It's all like people are not talking about this man enough, in my opinion. But Jason Kidd's been just doing great adjustments. I feel like it's gonna be how it was in the first two series. Dallas is gonna lose game one because especially Minnesota, they run on off their high right now. They on 10, like they beat the defending champs. You can't tell us shit. I feel like that's gonna carry them to game one. And what Jason Kidd's gonna do, like he did all the other game ones, he's gonna scout and see throw a whole bunch of different shit. It's not gonna be what we're gonna do, it's we're gonna see what can we do. That's what's gonna be game one. And then they're gonna win game two again. And then it's gonna be a series right after that. That's what I think's happened. It's happened. It's history is showing for this series for this season of the playoffs. That's what's gonna happen. That's what he's been doing, and I feel like his adjustments is gonna put them in a better position than Minnesota's coaching adjustments and get a better against a better position. Minnesota's adjustments for Dallas. Because of that, it's a like, and then once it becomes after that, it's gonna be like a battle to the end. And like I said, who I won at the end, Kyrie and Luka. Those are the two best finishers ever in NBA history. So I'd rather have those two on it when it matters most than Anthony Edwards, who still has shown that he can be that. But I just, haven't seen enough of that. No fault to his own, but it
Yeah.
just hasn't. This is first long playoff series, right? But he did do it
Yeah.
last year in Game 4 to force the Game 5 because I remember that specifically. But I know it gets different. So, and another thing, this is my final point on this matter. Why I also think Dallas is going to win is when they played early in the season. This was not the same Dallas team. This is not the same Dallas roster. While Dallas has a little bit of understanding of how their roster is going to play and how they play with each other, Minnesota, with the in-game experience, won't have that. But you can still say because well, some of the Dallas players won't have it, but at least a few
Mm.
will. And I feel like that's going to play a factor that Minnesota has never played this Dallas team yet, and this Dallas team has never played Minnesota yet. So this is a brand new series. So wherever it happened in the regular season with Minnesota sweeping them, doesn't matter. This is a two different.
Right.
This is a brand new team, and this team is that I think they're going to the championship. But I would not be surprised Minnesota wins it. Honestly, whoever comes out the West, I am happy. I think they're gonna be a team that I could root for. That I'm like, if
Don't know.
one of these two teams makes the championship, I understand the Dallas part. I just really like Kyrie and Luke. I just really like Kyrie Lucas. I'll
Let
be
me just
cheering for
say,
them, not for the team. I'll be cheering for
I
them, not for the team.
understand they are great players. I'm not a hater
and,
here
and I
thinking
want
that
Kyrie
they're
to have a
trash.
big,
I'm not
SEO
saying
to
any
what
of
he
that
did and went
at
through
all.
last
They are
year.
amazing
It's really what
players.
I'm like.
They are just wearing Dallas Mavericks uniforms. Ugh.
I know. But yeah, that's what I got for them, and that's what I got for that. Other side, we
I
got
I
the
mean,
Eastern
I
Conference.
mean, I
Go
feel
ahead.
like one last little input before we
You're
slide
good.
on. Nas Reed,
Mm,
six man of the year, and
mm.
has continued to play like it throughout the playoffs. I mean, that is
Play with heart, man.
also a problem that Dallas have to solve, because that's really what took out. You got to think it was the amount of big bodies that they threw at Jokic that really kind of fucked up his game plan or
Hmm.
whatever. And it's like, well, I think Lively is going to give Gobert fits. If he does enough, then he's just going to get Karl Anthony Towns put on him, which is somebody who's a little bit quicker, not as defensively athletic, but he's a different style. So now I'm not going to attack that alley oop the same way with Gobert and then Cat. And then now you have Nas Reed, who's a little bit shorter, who's a little bit heavier. So now you have
Hmm.
three really big bodies that lean on you, and that kind of, you can see it kind of got to Jokic a little bit, because nothing
Yeah.
really affects his shot. To be honest with you, I just think he got him more tired.
Yeah.
I just think
It's
he got him
those
more tired.
elbows, man, and that back and your shoulder.
Yeah.
You know that it gets annoying. It gets annoying,
But they
especially
have
just
three good.
crank
They
it up.
have three good. Like I slowly
Mm.
started watching Nas Reed over the whole course of this year, because I didn't know much about him until we played the Rockets, and I was just like, this dude is killing every time we played him. And
Hmm.
then I would look. I said I started watching more. I was like, oh, he's like doing this on a night in and night out basis. I guess they found themselves a dude. I don't know where he came from, but they found himself a guy. So I wasn't even too shocked when he was sixth man of the year, because I was like, yeah, no, he woke me up when I watched him at the game, watched him play. Like, this dude's a big dude, but then it's like he can score from everywhere, and then he plays good
Yeah.
defense
Yeah.
too.
He's the
Because
guy
the
that
3-point
everybody
shot
wants
was
on his
stopping
team.
me. Yeah, he made some really good defensive plays at the end of that last game. He did that block on
Mhm.
the reverse for Jamal Murray. That was big.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, I just wanted to give like the it's gonna be a good series. It's gonna be seven. They both got a lot of really good players on the team. Um,
Yes.
also,
This
things
is
for the people to know, I was my favorite players in basketball history is Sam Cassell and one Kevin Garnett, both of which played for who? That Western Conference Minnesota Timberwolves team in 2004. So I mean,
20
I'm okay with
years
them going back. 20
winning
years
king.
ago,
Yeah.
I was definitely rooting for this team. uh,
They
Especially because
there
my boys. Yeah, so
four more away,
especially
and they got
over
it.
over Dallas, my fandom would be more geared towards Minnesota for sure. But um, I think I
Two
think
reasons
I
to go
think
for Minnesota.
Dallas. I think Dallas in seven.
Yeah, Dallas and seven.
Look,
Now we got the flip side, the Indiana Pacers and the Boston Celtics. Indiana Pacers are coming off of a historic win, shooting 67%. Like that's not missing. That's crazy. 67% from the field, knocking out New York. New York just kept going. They had the injury bug bad. Maybe it's Tom
yeah.
Thibodeau working his players to death. I don't know, but they just, they can't win when they're not healthy. Like them healthy would be a different story, and the Pacers capitalized on that. So shout out to them. Didn't really see what I wanted to see from Tyrese Halliburton, but he did good enough. He did his role. It was a good team win. That was a good team win all around for the Pacers. But that's all I really got to say about that series.
Uh, yeah, I mean, Halliburton did enough. I mean,
He
you
did
could tell
enough,
when,
right? It
when stuff
wasn't
get good.
special. Yeah.
When stuff get good, but I mean, Siakam did what he was supposed to do. I mean, like that, they did
Mhm.
what they brought him in to do and be that scorer. So, uh, them together collectively, like that was a two-headed monster. And then Miles Turner chipped in too. So I mean, they got good pieces. Uh, yeah, I mean, New York just so valiant, right? Very strong, trying to push through or whatever. It's
Mhm.
kind of like the Cavs when LeBron went up against the Warriors, and then everybody was
Mm.
hurting. Like, yep, we
Oh
just gonna
yeah,
roll out here.
Kyrie, Kevin Love that first year. Yeah,
Mhm. Everybody was hurt. It's like we just gonna roll out here with some people. And
yeah,
LeBron looked like a superhuman. And it's like, I mean, you could only do so much.
yeah.
And so, I mean, that's collectively what New York was like. I mean, you did really good. You tried as much as you can, but there's only so much you could do as for
Hmm.
when talent wins out. And it's one thing I do say: a majority of times in basketball, over some other sports, right? It's generally right in a 7 game series.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
in 7 games, the better team won
Hmm.
majority of the time. I can't say 100%. You know, I don't like absolute, so not that. But
Hmm.
over the course of you playing 48 minutes times seven, like seven, it- whoever has scored like the most points or whatever and won 4 out of those 7 games, like the probably the better team, whatever. And of course, injuries and stuff play a factor, but of course they do.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like doesn't matter. I'm just saying somebody got hurt in game 2 that still
Hmm.
affected the outcome over the course of 7 games. And it's like, yep, the better team is now the other team because of what? The
The
best
injuries.
player got hurt. So
Yeah.
yes, of course that's a factor. But I'm like in basketball more than anything, it's like we got 7 games to figure that thing on out. It's probably the best team. Like in football,
Hmm.
you can get
You
hot.
should have a lucky.
And
Yeah.
you just like some, of course, and you know what I'm gonna say is luck is involved in every championship in every
Yeah.
sport.
I agree.
Little luck is involved in all of them. That's just my opinion. Um, but no, I mean, like in football, I wouldn't just say luck, but it don't necessarily have to be the best team
Mm.
won all the way through the championship. It was just like, oh, again, an injury means a whole lot more in football because you just play one game.
Yeah.
So somebody getting hurt the game, it's like, oh fuck now. I mean, what are we to do? It's like we don't you can try to have a good backup plan or whatever, but I mean, it's really heavily dependent on that aspect, right? But I don't also think that that's always the right thing either. You know what I mean? It's like, well, that whole
Hmm.
team was better, but then their quarterback got hurt. They couldn't overcome that because that's who moves the football. You know what I mean? Like,
True. Like the injury matters, like what position specifically as well. So like
mhm. And in
that
basketball,
does help.
injuries matter too. Like a big injury matters, of course. Like if a Luka gets hurt or whatever, right?
Mhm.
But most teams are equipped with multiple players, so it's like, yeah, Kyrie could probably win you a couple games too. Now, if you got some bench players that you can say, just get me one,
Yeah.
we can might piece ourselves together, and then maybe he could come back. And that's the thing. Like, it's not too much. You can come back with football. It's like you play next week, and you play next week, and hey, playoffs is over.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then moving
So, I
on.
mean, right.
But yeah, I mean, so the Pacers, congratulations, but you know, you got the Boston Celtics on the other side, and it went as I think how we all expected. They beat the Cavs. They did their thing. Now, I would still say there's still some uncertainty about the Boston Celtics for me. I don't. I still have questions on the Coach Azula. Tatum Tatum hasn't been looking as good as he needs to look, but at the same time, he hasn't need to look that good because they've been better clearly than every team that they played against so far in this playoff series. Like not even close. And now it's going. He should start getting it kicked on now in the Eastern Conference Championship to get prepared for the NBA championship if they even get past there. Because like I don't know, there's just some about it that it just you know even with Porzingis in or out, I just have some question marks. I'm not sure which Boston Celtics I'm gonna get each night. You know, I feel like it can be the one that blows the lead out of nowhere. It's like, well, how y'all losing this bad? Or it's the team that how they've been for majority of the season, whooping everyone's ass. But on the pure fact that those I've seen too many times where they have lost a big lead during the regular season. They have been destroyed. Like they don't lose, they lose bad when they lose. So it's like, how can that happen 4 games with Indiana, especially when they have like this efficient offense of going off of 67% and how well they play at home? I don't know. I feel like Indiana can honestly win every home game. Like this could go, a 7 game series. Um, I trust that the Celtics to get it figured out by now. They had time to rest and figure it out while they were in a game 7. They were watching the game 7, so they have more time to game plan and whatnot, and well rested. Porzingis should be back game 3, I believe. Right now, for sure, game 1 and 2 is definitively out. But if he can get back in, I would love for him to get back in to prepare for the championship, to move on, or just to help him win. Get that chemistry around going. Um, for them to win, just continue what they're doing. Knock those threes down. Tatum, be more aggressive. Get the same aggressiveness that Jalen Brown has. Please get that, and it's good. It's over. It's over. It's over. Jalen Brown, keep doing what you're doing. Al Horford, keep stepping it up, man. I'm appreciating that old man still kicking and giving everything he got, man. Knocking down threes, defense. Just keep that going. Derek White too. Drew Holiday. The team is stacked, guys. Come on, we can't act like it's not.
Man,
So just keep them going, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw my pick out there. I think it's gonna be 4-2 Celtics, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does go to game 7. But I feel like they're gonna take care of business in 4-2. Is my pick. What you got on the Celtics? The last series, who you got between Celtics and Pacers? And yeah.
Celtics, we don't have to touch too much on the Celtics last series with Cleveland. I think they played down to their competition, to be honest with you.
Honestly, yeah, that's really what it felt like.
I would just leave it at that. Even though they beat them, I felt like they kind of could have swept them. But I mean, maybe a gentleman's sweep.
Honestly.
But any case, with the Pacers, the Pacers' main thing that they have to do is, I mean, keep scoring, right? Their number one scoring offense, just keep that train moving, keep on blitzing Boston, like keep on attacking, keep on getting creative with scoring, try not to be stagnant. Um, and I feel like that's that's their only option. Because on the flip side, they're not good at defense. That's the reason why they score so
Mm-mm.
many points. They're not a good defensive team, and unfortunately, for them, uh, Boston is a pretty good defensive team. So I mean, if they
Mhm.
string together
Mhm.
a couple stops, I mean, it's kind of a wrap. Because you know what, I don't think Indianapolis is really capable of stringing together a couple of stops like back to back.
Yep. Yep.
And I feel
And I
like
didn't.
Boston has to go ahead.
I didn't.
No,
I
no,
didn't give my way of how the Pacers could win. I'm gonna say it real quick, and I'm gonna let you finish. I'm sorry, since I'm already talking. Siakam needs to get hot, and Miles Turner needs to take over as well because you got Orford on you. You're younger. You can stretch it out as well. Those two get going with Tyler. I cannot speak right now. Halliburton to still keep going just at the consistent pace that he has been. Those two going off, Siakam and Turner, could give Boston some problems. But go ahead.
it's just Boston has some defensive answers, especially if Porzingis could come back somewhere in this series, middle of this
Ooh,
series. You put a 7-2 person in the way. Um, as a matter of fact, I would flip and I would have Porzingis on Miles Turner and
mm.
Horford on Siakam. Try to have that wily old veteran, seeing if he can use the body to bump him away from the basket.
That's not bad. I like that.
and then use the length on Miles Turner. So Miles Turner, when he's out stretching, shooting that 3-point shot, he has like a better chance of blocking that shot.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you don't have Horford out there trying to play on the 3-point line nearly as much. You can have Porzingis floating out there and not have to
Yeah.
do so much, get the long rebounds anyway with his tall ass.
Yep, that could work. So
I
what
mean,
what what you got in the series?
I think 4-2 because I think the Pacers would give a good fight. Honestly, I
Mm-hmm.
do think it should be kind of like 4-1 if Boston plays up their potential. Really, if you look at their roster, they are completely
Stacked,
stacked, and
stacked.
the pieces really do fit really well together. So it's like if they all come forth and take care of business, especially
Mm-hmm.
again, they don't play good defense. They score out the ass, but they don't play defense. Uh, you
Yeah.
start stringing together a couple stops, it's pretty much a wrap. And Boston got the
I
team to do all of that. And I mean, who look? I don't even. It's funny because we just named all these people for the Pacers, and it's like not one of them do I think of defensively.
true. True. I mean, Neesmith, maybe. Siakam,
I mean, he was
kinda. But it's like it's not like no definitive.
right.
Yeah.
It's
Um.
not it's not like a Drew Holiday. Like, yep,
Mhm. So, real quick, just to review from last time, I had Dallas win 4-3, and I was saying Luca was the best player. Luca won. Dallas won that series. Um, you had OKC winning 4-2, saying Shaw was the best player. And on the flip side, you said New York going 4-3. You were the only one who said it was going to go Game 7 with New York, but you had New York winning and Brunson the better. Everyone else, literally me, Ross and Coop, all had 4-2. So we didn't think Pacers had a chance, but they pulled it out. And the same way for you said 4-2 on the Timberwolves, and you said Anthony Edwards was the best player. But what I'm trying to see here is the consistency of, does the best player on the court win the series, help win the series, or not? So far, it's looking kind of even. So that being said, I kind of want to keep this little personal study going. Who do you have as the best player in the Celtics Pacers game, and who do you have the best player in the Dallas Minnesota game, to wrap it all together?
Celt- got you. Celtics and Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum,
Uh,
Celtics. I agree with that. Dallas, Minnesota.
yeah, I know. I'm with you. I'm right there with you. That's
All right, I'll let you think about it. For
oh,
me,
that's
it's,
rough. Yeah, go
I'm
ahead and
I'm
say who
saying
you think for
as of
the.
today, as of today, as of today, I am saying Luca. Luca is the best player in the series, and I would say Anthony Edwards number two, and then Kyrie's number three, and then Cat's number four. But for right now, for the purpose of this, I am saying today Luca is the best player in that series on the court. To next year it might be Anthony Edwards, but as of right now, this year today, I still believe that it's Luca, the best player on the court in that series. Gave you time to think.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I might even, give you a
I
little,
wanna,
you
yeah, I
know
want to
what?
say
Maybe
that. I mean,
Randy knows something.
Luca a little banged up though. Luca a little
Yeah,
banged up
that's
though. I
fine.
mean, and Anthony
Yeah,
Edwards
he
is
had a
healthy.
game 7 he didn't have to play.
Yeah. Nah, it's Luca for. I mean, who is more recently higher in the MVP race? So it would be Luca
It'd be Luka.
and
All
Jason
right, so
Tatum.
Luka and
But
Jason
boy,
Tatum, I
boy, I mean,
agree with you.
Anthony Anthony Edwards found a way to
Anthony
help
Edwards right there.
Minnesota go to the
He's
go
right
to the
there.
championship. He jumped. jumped a whole lot of names, and I know it might sound crazy, but I mean, like it's runs like this that put you on the map. That's what, like put you on
That
a
puts you on
different
the GOAT map. You winning the NBA championship at the age of 22,
it
man,
puts
with
you
a
on a
young team.
whole different tier. Put you on a whole different tier. Hey, look,
Imagine Minnesota winning it
you saw what
all.
was about to happen with Derrick Rose if he could got
Everybody else say
around
that.
Cleveland. If
Yeah.
Derrick Rose could have got around Cleveland, you saw what was about to take off.
Oh
He
yeah,
was
he
about
was
to be.
there. Oh, he was about to. Oh, he was. He was right there because like not only that he balled out in that playoff
Oh
run.
yeah, he went off.
He
He
was
threw three
he
people
was
on to
on.
see like they
Yeah.
started triple teaming him. Like it was like somebody else from Chicago is gonna have to score. Somebody else
Yeah.
is. It's not gonna be him. Smartest game plan that they had too. Okay, somebody else win because they couldn't do the same thing with
Jimmy
LeBron.
Butler was on that team, was he not?
Was Jimmy on the? But Jimmy Butler on the Bulls was more of a defensive person when he was like
Yeah.
Jimmy Buckets.
Yeah.
It was until right before he was leaving
He
Chicago.
wasn't
Before he
Philly,
was
Minnesota, and Miami
right.
Jimmy.
That's when he was grooming
Yeah.
his offensive game, right? Like,
Yeah.
but
He was
then when he left, then
he was on the Bulls.
he was. But I mean, next to Derrick Rose was him before those injuries.
Yeah. Woo-hoo. Boy was a beast, man. But yeah,
And
so go ahead.
no, that was it. I was just
Okay, cool. All that being said, I think that's a good place to end it there. We got our picks in, we got our best players in, we got the breakdown in. So let's see how this turns out. This is going to be a good series in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. Hopefully, it's a good series. I prefer it, but I think we all know what that's going to be like without, injury. God forbid. But appreciate you, Phil. Thank you for this. We got a little pre-game, pre-season, post-season conference championship matchup out before we see anything from any of the games. So let's see how we do.
Right. Let's enjoy this game now. It should be good, man. Especially that Western Conference. Like I think it's going to be
I'm
super
gonna watch
entertaining over
every
there. I'm
single one of
trying.
the Western Conference ones, start to finish. I'm gonna watch
Exactly.
every single one of those games.
I am going to lock myself in the room. Hey, my wife and
Yo,
kids, please go do something for these games, okay?
yeah. Just for 2 hours. All I need is 2 hours. All I
Just,
need is 2 hours.
just these games. Hey, look. You know how
Yeah.
you say Daddy love basketball? It's about to come to an end. Let me watch these games coming up, okay? And just
Amen to
got a
that.
few more weeks of this, and then that's it. I ain't had nothing else to do
Yo,
then. So hey,
you got us. You got us in. You got
you
us wherever y'all
you
want.
got
You
me
got us in.
right.
You got us in. And in
Just
between.
give me a couple
So
more weeks. Just give me a couple more weeks.
right,
That's right.
right. But cool. Yeah, it's a good way to end it. I want to thank you and thank y'all for listening and have a great day.
All right, top peace.